Yeah, we'll try to keep it
Forever.
30. I always try to keep it 30.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're live. What's up, y'all? John Melton coming to you live with mylifestyleacademy.com, and I am fired up, jacked up, and excited. We're going to have a killer interview today. I would highly recommend sharing this with your teams. Anybody you know that needs to expand their vision for what's possible in the home business, network marketing, direct sales industry, you're going to be talking to an individual today that is absolutely crushing it in his business. In fact, I want to drop some stats on y'all, so pay attention. Jefferson Santos has built over 2 million person teams in his network marketing career, 45 countries worldwide, a customer base of over 1.6 million customers, and he's an international best-selling author. And here's what's cool too. He's got freedom. You know, it's interesting. I was just doing an interview actually like an hour ago, and I was talking about how when I didn't have any money, that's when I was money motivated. Then I made a bunch of money and I realized it's not the money, it's the freedom that I'm excited about. And I think anyone that becomes successful in network marketing, they'll tell you, you know, it started out as an opportunity to earn some income, but eventually they got to a point where they were making money, but it was the residual piece. It was the leverage piece. It was having freedom to wake up when you're done sleeping, work with who you want to work with, travel the world, be at home with your kids, right? That's what's more important. And that's why building a large business in network marketing is so exciting. Not easy, but totally worth it. Also, Jefferson's book is called author of the best-selling book, Higher Life Design. So he's absolutely killing it. And he's an expert with leadership, duplication, building, again, a 2 million person team, y'all, in 45 countries. How many of us would be excited to have a team expanding the globe, millions of people? I'm sure all of us would agree that is awesome sauce. And we're also live on TikTok, y'all. So what's up, TikTok? We're just live all the time on TikTok nowadays. But Jefferson, excited to have you here. Just say what's up to our audience. And also, just so you know, those of you that are watching, this will also be a podcast episode as well. So you'll be able to download this and listen to the audio version once we're done and get it uploaded there on our podcast. So Jefferson Santos, what's up, brother?
Man, it is an exciting time in history right now. We get to do this. We don't have to do this. We get to do this, John. So I'm excited to be on your show, the podcast, the lives, all this stuff. I mean, you're doing so much, so much for so many people, and you and your wife, Nadya, in the entrepreneur space, in the network marketing space, and just happy to be a part, man. So let's talk about lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me ask you this. I know you've been in the profession a while because we had kind of a similar background years and years and years ago. Is it 20 years in the profession? Over 20 years? What is it?
25 now, dude.
25. Okay, that's what I thought. So you've been around for a hot minute. You were back in the 90s.
I was back when they had pagers back then. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. I love it. That's very cool. So back then, were you doing a lot of the old school stuff like the cold market, like office meetings, or was it home meetings back then?
Yeah, I mean, it was everything. It was basically, we call hand-to-hand combat, right? You know, we're in the living rooms, right? We're 3-foot roll talking to people at the coffee shop or restaurant or, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't think Starbucks was around back then, but
no, probably not.
Yeah, but it was one of those
So
things.
you were doing it all though. It wasn't just like briefings or opportunity meetings. You were doing it all. Home meetings, one-on-ones, all the things.
And, you know, and the thing is too, is that sharpens all the edges, so to speak, right? That gets you really honed in because, you know, for me, it's like all those little home meeting, whether it was 3 people or 5 people or 10 and then in a hotel presentation, those are all little mini platforms to develop your speaking skills. They're all little mini platforms to develop your confidence and your speaking skills and your ability just to speak and communicate. And I just think just the industry helps people it rewards people that can communicate well, or if you don't know how to communicate, you're kind of forced to, like, I had to learn how to communicate better because I was an introvert, dude. Yeah. And so I had to learn to be extroverted. And the funny thing about that is, you know, Tony Robbins talks about you do things to gain pleasure or to avoid pain, right?
Right.
And so the mental trick that I did with myself was I did this as I go as an introvert, right? For those of you that are watching or listening right now, if you're introverted, you can make a ton of money. Now, here's how it works is in my head, here's what I did. I go, well, if I don't talk to people, then I can't get a prospect. If I can't get a prospect, I can't get an appointment. If I can't get an appointment, I can't do a presentation. If I can't do a presentation, then I don't have the ability to make a sale. If I can't make a sale, I can't make any money. Can't make any money, I can't eat. If I can't eat, then I'm going to starve. If I starve, I'm going to die.
Life or death. Life or death.
In my head, I'm like, if I don't stick my hand out and meet somebody, I could starve and die. That's what I did in my head to motivate myself to just stick my hand out and smile and say hello. And that's what I had to do, right? Because I had to link pain, because that's more motivating than pleasure, is I had to link the pain to not doing the activity. Just like when we have a turn paper due tomorrow and, we link pain to missing out on the fun, but immediately the pain switches, right, to getting the F if you don't write the paper. So guess what? We stay up all night, we write the paper, and we turn it in. And that's how it is. And that's how, we all that's how we get motivated. And that's
how we operate.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting too, because I always had a deep fear of public speaking, but I was an extrovert. So for me, it was always interesting because I was so freaking aggressive and they told me in the beginning, they were like, all you gotta do is be a body dragger. You just bring bodies to the meeting, more butts in the seats means you make more money. And there was someone at a training one time, and this is what finally got me to start speaking in front of the room. Because I literally, Jefferson, I had people in my downline speaking, doing trainings, doing presentations, and I wasn't. I was that stubborn. And I was like, even if you call my name up there, if you try to ambush me, right?
Oh, you're a good delegator.
Right. And I'd like to look at it that way too. But I was like, I told him, I was like, even if you try to get me up there to do a testimonial, I'm going to walk out. So they wouldn't even try to ambush me and put me up there. But a guy said on stage, the person in front of the room makes the most money. I'm like, all right, enough's enough. I got to get over this fear. And I did black out the first several times. I got in front of the room. I was trembling, no idea what I was. And it was only because of a fear of not knowing what to say. I had never done it before, fear of the unknown. But you talked about the introvert, extrovert, and it's just interesting because I was just thinking as you were saying that, I've always been an extrovert, but I didn't like prospecting people, 3-foot ruling it, right? Anywhere you go, just talking to humans. Mm-hmm. So if someone tells me they're shy or they're an introvert, I'm like, hello, that's why we use the internet nowadays. Yeah. Like the number one reason I got online back in 2012, 2013. Now listen, I've been online way before then. I recruited my first person off MySpace in 2006.
There you go.
But it was honestly, I just didn't want to have to be that guy where you got to walk around and go out and about just to talk to people, to find people for your business. So I'm like, I'm going to get on the internet and generate leads, create curiosity, build my personal brand, build community, all the things that I think all of us are well aware of today, the importance of that. So when someone says, oh, I'm an introvert, I can't do network marketing, I'm like, dude, that's the internet. Like, you don't even have to see people anymore.
Yeah, there's no excuse anymore, dude.
There's no excuse. You can just type a message or send an audio clip. It's fantastic.
What's funny is I have a couple of friends that are not in network marketing, but they understand the industry. And so when we're together, I always joke with them. I go, hey man, you want to get my MLM, man? You want to get my MLM? They're always, it's funny. It's like a joke thing. But yeah, I mean, we can put the message out there. We're going to attract the tribe that wants to work with us and work with your message and all that stuff. And so we just got to put ourselves out there and to be transparent and to be frank. I mean, I probably should do a lot more lives than I do. Yeah. And part of that is no matter how much money you make, you still have, could be a small voice, could be a bigger voice of self-doubt in your mind or in your head. And I still okay, so when you look at the billion-dollar movies out there, right, or the hundreds of millions of dollars of movies, it doesn't start with, oh, so-and-so, the main character, and all of a sudden the main character wins all the way through. Well, that's not interesting. You're not going to stick and watch the movie, right? Yeah. It's when the main character, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden there's a turn. Right. And now the main character is down in the dumps and that they find the wise one, the guide to kind of help them save the dragon at the top of the mountain, save the girl with the dragon, whatever that is. And so with anything is we all have, here's my point. We always have our dragons. We have something we're always butting up against. And for me, it's always been self-doubt. It's like, okay, can I do it again? Can I build again? I think because all YouTube now, I have this love-hate relationship with YouTube because I'm like, man, all the personal development stuff that I would train that nobody knew about is now all on YouTube. So I feel like when I speak sometimes, I'm literally letting you parachute in my head right now, my biggest fears. What I'm saying right now, they've already heard because they've watched every YouTube video. Well, guess what? There's so many videos out there, they probably still haven't watched it yet. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff but it's still in my head sometimes, right before I go on stage in front of 20,000 people. I'm like, okay, they've heard everything. What am I going to say that's different? But you know what? Here's the turn. The turn is it's your perspective. So if you're listening right now, you're watching right now, listen, the way it's going to come out of your mouth, it's from your perspective. That's why people pay you or anybody else to speak. or you earn the big bucks is because people are paying for your perspective, not somebody else's perspective, yours. So that got me out of my own stinking thinking and all that to just keep on doing that. But I still need to do more of that.
Yeah. Well, I know it's interesting too, because it's also a timing thing, right? Like someone might have heard a similar message a couple of years ago. The timing wasn't right. Now hearing it from you and you're more relatable. I was just on TikTok and I was talking about this, and it's, this person's like struggling with selling. And I'm like, maybe you got to work on your likability. You're not likable, or you're not trustworthy, or you're not excited enough, or the people are just never going to buy because they're never going to buy. Like there's so many variables, but at the end of the day, you got to show up and do you. You got to be excited. You got to get over your stinking thinking, your limiting beliefs. But it's called being human if you have them. Right? Yeah. I'm like, be more relatable. In fact, try to identify people that you relate to and talk to them. Stop trying to sell everybody. Stop trying to work with everybody and do your videos and your content to attract everybody. Because guess what? You ain't going to attract everybody. It's called attraction marketing, but it's like a damn magnet. While you attract, you also repel. And I think even at the highest levels, it's interesting because as I become more and more successful, like we just had our biggest direct deposit ever on Friday, like the biggest check we've ever made, hands down, bar none. Thank you. But I still look at that and I'm like, do I really deserve that? Like, what is happening? And the other thing that happens too, and I don't know if you relate, but lose you, buddy.
Oh, there you go.
So here's what's really weird. This is like a new strange thing. I'm going to block all the call. So there's a new thing now where people are calling on Messenger, which has happened before, but they somehow get through my live broadcast. That happened the other day also.
That's crazy.
All right, so I just blocked it. Okay, good. Whew, that was weird. I had a point and I forgot it. But the bottom line is all of us, even at the highest levels, have those fears and doubts. We just do the work anyway. And this is what I was going to say. And you brought up Tony Robbins. This is how I thought about this. Jessica Higdon was at GoPro. And she asked Tony Robbins, she said, and because, if you donated a certain amount of money, he would let you ask a question. And she's like, how do you stop worrying when you're making a lot of money and you're doing really, really well? How do you stop worrying about it all going away? Like it all getting shut down, something happens and your business collapses, like, having that fear that it might. And he goes, you got to give more. You got to give more. He's like, anytime you're feeling scarcity or feeling like it's going to go away or fall apart, or, what if everybody quits? Like, what if the company goes, like, oh, you got to give more. And that's why we always get, like, I donate anytime, the Facebook birthdays, and it shows like you can donate. Yeah. I donate every time. Sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's 150. We're doing tip the bill challenge right now. Like we went out to dinner in Orlando on our last night, and the bill was like 400. We tipped like 450. Nice. And it's just, it feels so good to be able to do that. But of course, ironically, when you give, and it's not just, by the way, some of you are watching, you're going, well, I don't have money to give. I can't afford that. You can give your time. You can give your attention. You can give your value. Jefferson even said he doesn't do enough lives. Like all of us know we have more to give and more to offer, but we do have that limiting belief that like people have already heard this. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of going down this vein of generosity. I mean, I mean, you got to be like one of the things about like Jerry Rice, one of the top receivers, if not the number one receiver in the NFL, one of his stories, and he talks about, when this football touches my hands, my body goes to the end zone. Yeah. Like that's just how it's trained. Like every time, no matter if he catches the ball on the other 10-yard line, he'll run 90 yards in practice to go to the end zone. Even if he's doing a half-speed drill, he'll run to the end zone because he's trained his molecule in his body to go in the end zone. That's what his body knows, right? Yeah. So that's one of the things that we have to learn as entrepreneurs and leaders, whether you're leading yourself or a team of 3 or a team of 10,000, is you got to be generous. That doesn't mean give everybody everything and you're just broke and you're just like a wet noodle sitting there, like, out of energy and out of everything. It's you have to be mindful of that, but we all have skills and things that we can give. And you have to make, okay, I can give an hour, 3 hours a week here, or I can do this free thing over here. And so you balance that out, but it's being generous, right? Being generous with a compliment. When you see somebody and they look good, but you're weird about how they might react to you complimenting them, right? Compliment them. Say, hey, you know what? I just want to let you, you're looking really sharp today, man. Great shoes, blah, blah, blah. You look well put together today, rock and roll. Like just a compliment. Some of us are not generous enough with compliments.
That's so good.
Right. Yeah. And so that's
when I was at Disney, dude, I probably complimented at least 10 people on their mask.
Oh,
some people just have really cool. I saw like a Louis Vuitton mask, a Gucci mask. Great mask. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I love that.
Yeah. And so I think that, life's going to reward generosity. And I think that as leaders, as you're building your team, you're going to have people on other teams, just kind of a leadership, put my leadership hat on for a second. You're going to have other teams in the company that you're in. And they might ask you to do a 3-way call every once in a while, or maybe pop on a Zoom as a guest speaker. Right. Do that. Just don't do it every minute of the day. Right. You're going to have to say no sometimes, but just be known as that person that does give. And that's all I've done for years and years and years. I create slide decks and different things. I'm just giving it out to my competing leaders we're all competing in the same company, but we're really not, because there's an abundant amount of people and prospects and customers out there. We don't have to have this, those are my people. Like nobody's person. All right. Everybody is going to join with who they're going to join. And I'm saying that because I had to tell myself that, because I had so much anxiety of, I got to sign this person up. And I'm like, get all stressed out. And I would literally probably vibe them away.
100%.
And we vibe people away with our vibrations of like, we want them so bad, it repels them. So the right people are going to pop on your team. The right people are going to come at the right time. And so just, woosah, you just got to do the work, right? We just got to do the work and it's going to come.
Yeah, you nailed that too, because that I believe in that 100%. When you have commission breath, look, there's an old saying in network, commission breath, it just stank, right? It's like you just got that stank ass commission breath. Like I can tell you want my monies. But there's a saying in network marketing, and I just don't agree with it. I used to, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, that's not right. It's you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, the wrong thing to the right person. You could definitely say the wrong thing to the right person, right? Like if you say too much, or you're saying stuff that just sounds sketchy, you could absolutely turn off a good person. And by the way, they're just turned off from you. They might go join someone else. They might go join a different company. I mean, how many of us, drop into the comments and let me know, how many of you have seen someone join a network marketing business that you're friends with and it wasn't yours? And they knew about yours. It's not like you're a secret agent. Like they knew about yours, but they chose a different company. You just can't take it personal. You can't care. But instead of being bitter, you're going to get better. You're going to work on you. You're going to say, I'm not frustrated. I'm going to get fascinated. What is Jefferson doing differently? I bet Jefferson's read more books than me. I bet you he's worked on himself, studied success. He didn't just get involved and wing it the last 25 years, maybe in the beginning, but at some point he became a student. He became a professional. He got serious and he developed skills. And this is what's so important. If you want to be successful in network marketing, you've got to become a great communicator, a great leader. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. Now, Jefferson, I got a question for you. You got a 2 million person team. How do you decide who to spend time with? I think there's leaders that sometimes they get inundated with growth, or maybe they have one leg, a runaway leg, and they're like, that's the easy one to work with. So they spend all their time in the easy leg, but that leg, although it's a great team and they want to be grateful for it, they need to also go build some width. So when you have a team as big as yours, I think anybody that either has a big team or is intending on building a large business would love to hear your insights on how do you determine who to spend time with?
Yeah, it's a great question, John. So really, it's really simple. It's who is active in the groups, right? Who is showing up to the Zooms? Who is showing up to the trainings, whether they're virtual or physical? Who's showing up? And that just makes it really easy. That's the other filter. You got filters to get them through as a prospect, to get them in. And now once they're in, that's okay. They're in the computer. They're in your organization. Now what? Right? What's their commitment level? And so we're always exposing, we're involving, and we're upgrading people's belief. We're upgrading their income. We're upgrading their rank. And so, once again, as a leader, and you're trying to figure out who to work with, you got to watch their feet, not their mouth, right?
I like that.
So what are they doing, right? And so I help everybody in groups, right? Whether I'm doing a big Zoom or a live inside of a group or whatever. But when it comes to like day-to-day 3-way call type stuff, it is the newer teams I'm working with, and it's the people that they're constantly showing up and they're asking the right questions, not the, well, why don't I get more spillover? Not those kind of questions. It's the question of, how do I get to the next rank? How do I maximize this event that's coming up? Hey, help me think through this idea that I have. It's those kinds of questions that I really like, and John, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, just to share everybody, like before I started network marketing, I played football, in grade school, junior high, high school. I was part of a losing team the whole time, and it sucked. I was a pretty good athlete. We had some pretty good athletes, but you have to win as a team, right?
Yeah.
Then I get accepted to the Naval Academy, and I play there, and we lose there. Okay, but the year I left there, they won a bowl game, so I didn't get the ring. And every young man wants to get the championship ring. Anybody wants to get the award for the championship or the achievement, right? So I felt like a loser or a bad luck charm. But then I transferred to another university called TCU, Texas Christian University, and I played there. I walked on, and I got a chance to get some play time. The year I left there, they won a bowl game. So I missed 2 championship rings, right? And then I get into network marketing and struggle for 8.5 years before I made any money. And so when you look at the losing streak, if you were to look at from the outside looking in, from 4th grade all the way to making any kind of money in network marketing, that was like 19 years of eating crap, of having an expectation and never getting there, having an expectation and setting
What
goals.
kept you going?
It was the optimistic outlook of the future. I'll tell you this, my belief and my faith carried me until my skill could catch up. And I say that all the time because you have to have faith that even though you have 0 people on your team or you have 5, you're going to get 1 person on your team. Those 5 are going to turn into 500. Those 500 are going to turn into 10,000. You have to have faith if you're doing all the work, right? But also my belief. Now, how do you get belief? Well, you listen to stuff like this. You get the good stuff in your brain. You go to events. You learn from different people. Not too many people. You want to get confused because, in this day and age,
I'd say 2 to 3.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have a flavor of the hour with how many gurus we got out there on the interwebs.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, so listen to John. So here's the thing, guys, is your belief and your faith has to carry you until your skill can catch up. And it took me a while. I wasn't the fastest kid on the team. I wasn't the smartest kid in class, but you know what I did? I went in early and I studied extra. I went in early to the weight room. I stayed later at the weight room, got an extra little protein shake here and there, got my little East Bay catalog parachutes and my strength shoes. And I did everything I could to try to get the edge because I was one of those kids that was stuck in the middle. I wasn't really talented. My single mom, my mom's raising my sister and I, my parents divorced when I was 4. So in order for me to like hang out with the cool kids, I had to be in athletics. Right. Because I had like high water pants and off-brand shoes and all that stuff because we couldn't afford anything, but high water pants are kind of in these days. Right. Anyway, so
go figure.
So it was kind of like one of those things where, but you know what? I was like, I got to figure it out. And so, and even with school, I just had a big desire and a big heart to just go. So every time we lost a game or something didn't happen right in my head, and this is the difference between successful people and professionals and amateurs, is an amateur will hold on to it for days and weeks and months. For me, it was literally like seconds and I would let it go. I'd be pissed that we lost. I'd be pissed this happened, but literally it's like, okay, I'm going to get him next time. Okay, what do I got to do differently? That was my mindset. And that was something that was trained, but I had an optimistic bent. But if you're not there yet, that's the work that you got to do. You got to get used to getting over things faster, like water going off a duck's back, quicker. Get over things quicker. That's a huge thing for me that helped me get going even more successful.
Yeah, you're not going to change your life feeling sorry for yourself. You're not going to change your life, boo-hooing in the corner. And it's interesting because I have kind of a similar experience with network marketing. It took me 7 years to create a full-time income. And I had, one company go out of business. I got out of network marketing for a little while, got back in, and, and even still today, there's still challenges. There's still adversity, right? You guys have been dealing with a lot of changes with what you're doing. So it's just a part of life. It's a fact of life. Like you're not going to get to a point where you're just like done and you're chilling and you got beach money and you're making money hand over fist and doing nothing. Like at the highest level, I always say new levels, new devils, because even at the highest level, there's still going to be adversity and challenges, but because you've got thicker skin and you've been through so much, you can handle those challenges, those day-to-day adversities. And I think, for me, it was actually like, obviously during the setbacks and the shutdowns and all the stuff that we went through at that time, I wasn't enthusiastic about it. I wasn't like, man, this is awesome. I love having my company get shut down by the FTC or getting sued for $2.5 million or whatever those things were, losing $1 million in real estate. But when I look at my life in reverse, and how many of you can relate to this, smash the hard button if you can. But when you look at relationships in reverse, you look at some of the adversities in reverse, you go, that was actually a good thing because it was a redirection, right? Sometimes our greatest disappointments are God's greatest appointments. And it's a meant to be situation. My last company getting shut down was the greatest thing that could have happened. Obviously, at the time, I didn't feel that way, but literally because I'd already been through so much, within 24 hours, I'm like, okay, now what? Time to pivot, right? It's like in the movie, right? You're talking about the movies earlier, plot twist, right? If there's no plot twist, you're not going to go. You're not. First of all, you're never going to watch that movie again, and you're certainly not going to rave about it to your friends, right? You see a crappy movie where it's like real obvious what's going to happen, right? Who the bad guy is. That movie sucks.
Exactly. Anyway. And the thing is I know it sucks when we're going through it. When you're the main character of your movie and you're going through it sucks. But here's a little mental trick again. You have to in your head. You have to go, oh, this is going to be a great story. Like when stuff's happening to you, like, oh man, the story's going to be really good, man. The story's going to be really good.
Yep. This is a bestseller right here, baby.
Oh, yeah,
holy hell. If I survive this, I can survive anything. And it's interesting too, because I'm actually glad it took me so long. And it sounds like, again, same thing for you. You didn't make any money for 8.5 years. You know, and then you get these people, right? They're like, I've been doing this for 7 months. Like, I'm barely making any money. Like, bruh, like 7 years, 8.5 years, 7 months, give me a freaking break. But the challenge is today with social media, it's very obvious that there's others doing better than you. And by the way, there's always someone doing better than you.
Yep.
There's always, even the number one income earner in all of network marketing, the dude that makes maybe millions a month, there's a company owner out there that makes more than all the distributors. So, and then there's people in traditional business, right? Unless you're Jeff Bezos, like there's always someone doing better than you.
And then there's the Prince of Brunei that flies around on a gold-plated 747 jet or some shit, right?
right. Like, and then but even
there's always somebody bigger, stronger, faster. That's what my coach told me a long time ago.
And here's the other thing. This is the thing that I need everybody to understand, that even Jeff Bezos, as successful as he is, didn't he just get divorced?
Yep.
So, okay, you make the most money, but I have a great relationship with my spouse, and so does Jefferson, that you don't have. Yep. Now, he might have other things going on. I'm just saying, even if someone seems to be doing better than you, that's just in one category.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to look at the other areas of our life, you know, and that's one thing that I've been talking to, you know, a lot of my, just different groups and different interviews and stuff is about, you know, like I got my notes right here, my 9 different areas of your life. It's like how, you know, your spiritual life, your relationships, your family, your business, your financial, your health and fitness, your personal development, and your emotional and your fun and recreation. And so when you look at these areas of your life, it's like, how are you doing spiritually? You know, maybe you are doing great. Maybe you know the Bible backwards and forwards, or maybe you know how to meditate and pray and, you know, connect with the universe or whatever, right? And maybe your relationships are great, right? But somebody else's relationships are not great. They might have more money, but you have more happiness, right? And I'm not trying to say people that are rich are unhappy. I'm not trying to say that, because we've all heard of bitter billionaires before. We've all heard that. You know, one of my good friends, Kim Campbell, she's got a book called Inner Peace, Outer Abundance, right? And so it's like we've met people that have all this spiritualness and they have all this inner peace, but they're broke, right? Then you have all these people that might have all this speedboats and airplanes, and they have all this outer abundance, but they're broken inside, and they have no inner peace. And so the goal, obviously, is to have inner peace and outer abundance, right? And so you know what we need to do is, if you find somebody doing well over there, say, good for them. Compare yourself to others carefully. See, that's the key. See, like, comparing yourself to others is going to eat your lunch, but compare yourself to others carefully, because find out what they're doing. And are you doing what they're doing in excellence, consistently, persistently, and for how much time? Right? That's how you compare yourself to others, right? And so then you look at financial. You might somebody, they're making a lot of cash flow right now, but you might have a bunch of real estate or a bunch of investments going. Your net worth is bigger than theirs, right? Then you got health and fitness. Maybe you're in shape and they don't look so good. Maybe they're you know what I'm saying? There's all these ways you can look at, right? And, you know, emotional, like, right, 2020 has been a big emotional year for people, right? And I think that we have to get really good at, this has been a huge emotional exercise of 2020, right? It's like, how are we dealing with people, and how are we dealing with ourselves, and how are we coping and stuff, right? And then fun and recreation. They might be working 24/7, but you're actually going on a trip once a quarter, right? And you're having fun time. So there's always something better that you have. Not that you're trying to beat anybody, but it's just for your mental health to go, you know what? I do have a great relationship with my wife. You know what? I do got a great relationship with my family. And you know what? I'm in shape right now and I feel good about what I'm eating. Like it's all these things that you got to focus on. That's a whole nother conversation about focus. And that's what you get, right? Is when you focus on the good stuff.
Well, it's such a good point too, because you could look at it as a reason to again feel like you're a loser, woe is me, or you can use it as motivation, right? Get fascinated, be like, what's this person doing that they have a great relationship with their kids, their spouse, they're fit, they're rich, they're happy. It's while you were saying all that, I was just thinking how grateful I am to not only to be in network marketing, but to have found it at a young age. Now, obviously, if you find it and you're 50 years old, it's still better late than never. But this is the only industry where that conversation would even happen.
Yeah.
What you just talked about. I mean, if you're a real estate broker, you have traditional business, there's very few industries out there that would talk about all the things you just talked about. Like they would maybe talk about making a lot of money, but they wouldn't talk about your health and fitness, which, hello, true wealth is quality health. Like if you're 50, 60 years old, you've got all the money in the world, you can't buy your health. Look at what, I don't want to get into name dropping like a bunch of very successful people that died because that's very sad and terrible. But I think we can all appreciate that, like, doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't buy back your time. You can't buy your health. Like I wish I could outsource someone else to do my sit-ups for me and my push-ups. It just doesn't work like that. But I love that we have that type of conversation in network marketing because it just doesn't happen anywhere else. I don't know about those of you that are in other lines of work, but you just don't hear anyone talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of reminded me about the word mortality motivation.
Ooh,
like,
what's
good, that? Yeah. Well, we're all going to die, right? And so the thing is that some of us are going to die faster than others. We're not promised tomorrow, but it's kind of like, look, guys, time is finite for us, right. Right. And so the thing is, though, is like, what are you doing with the time that you got? And what are you waiting on? Are you waiting on for yourself to feel better before you do that live video or before you reach out to that prospect? Don't wait. Right. Okay. Because their life is, they could be going on a fork in the road the wrong way. And if you just make a phone call or send them a text or do a voice note, on Messenger or WhatsApp or, Telegram or TikTok or whatever, then you're gonna. Did
you ever think you would say those words in one sentence a year ago or 2 years ago? Right?
I know, right?
Telegram, TikTok. Anyway, go on.
So funny, man. Yeah, I know. There's all these. I mean, think about this. We're in a part of history right now where it's free to talk to anybody around the world. Right. And literally, you don't even talk to them live. You can just do a little voice note. You can have your inflections and then have the emotion through the voice and all that, or shoot them a video. I think a video sometimes might be too much too soon. Maybe an audio note's better. It's almost like you're like, hey, what's up? It's like, whoa, let me show you. Yeah. But it's amazing time to be. So it's like there's no excuse now. Like it's free, literally, to go out and communicate with people. Now you just need to know what to say, and you need to have the belief in yourself, and you can do it.
Right. Amen. So we've had you for over 30 minutes. I know you're super busy. You got a lot going on. Jefferson, maybe you could share what your book is about, or, your website, whatever, just for people that want to have a deeper dive. They want to learn more from you. They want to get your best content. Maybe you could share that.
Yeah, sure. So the content, I kind of put together a mini website that has some links to all my content. It's connectwithjefferson.com. Connectwithjefferson.com. And, you can find all my social media there, all of that. But, the book is called Higher Life Design, Arrive at Your Intended Destination, Healthy, Wealthy, and Happy. All of us want to be healthy and wealthy and happy, right? And so I talk about, obviously, my story and how I overcame things, and then a lot of frameworks of kind of help me think and get through the ways of being, because it's like who you are is what you're going to attract, right? And so it's kind of a modern, it's a timeless personal development book. It's not a network marketing book. I wanted to write a book that we kind of served and that was timeless, so people can read it now or 10 years from now or 20 years from now, and it still works now, right? Or then in the future. And so that's what it's all about. And so there's more information on there, just connectwithjefferson.com. And there you go, man. So
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, my friend.
Absolutely, dude. You crushed it. Love your knowledge. I love your value. Love your story. You've absolutely killed it over the years. And, I love the fact that it took you a while. I mean, I think that's what it's all about, right? It's the adversity that helps us develop into the leaders we need to be. And, you can tell a lot about a leader the longer it took them to have success. And I think that's, again, I'm so grateful for the struggle, because I think I embraced the suck early on and said, hey, the time's going to pass anyway. I'm not good at this. I'm going to get better over time. And one day I'll look back and be glad that I kept going. And when you build a large team, when you build a large business, you're going to have so much more gratitude for the business you built because you know you went out there and deserved it. And it wasn't something that was handed to you. You didn't get lucky. You went out and earned it, deserved it, and made it happen. So I know that's your story. I know that's mine. And I think there's a lot of people watching this that are maybe in the struggle right now. Just keep freaking going. Yeah, Jefferson, I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. And one last thing is, now that you've gone through the struggle, we've all gone through the struggle. Now you can coach people through their struggle because you've been through it, right? You can't coach people if you haven't been through it. So that's the cherry on top. John, you're amazing. You and your wife, Nadya, thanks for having me on. Appreciate let's rock and roll, and happy holidays, guys.
Yeah, same to you, man. All right, guys. Hasta luego, everybody.